Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to Social Science online teaching classes from Vishwamanava Residential High School. I am Mahabubbi, your social science teacher. My dear students, today we are going to discuss the geography part of the second lesson, that is labor. Labor lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn division of labor. What is the meaning of division of labor? Inequality and discrimination in labor. Then labor with pay and without pay. What is the meaning of labor with pay? And what is the meaning of labor without pay? Then laborers of organized and unorganized sectors. What are the difference between organized and unorganized labor sector? And also we going to learn about this chapter, challenges of unorganized labor sector. What are the problems faced by the unorganized labor sector? These points we learn in this class. Okay, my dear students, let's start. Division of labor. Let's move towards the meaning of division of labor. First of all, we understand what is the meaning of labor. Labor means who work for the daily wage, who work for the salary is called as labor. Then after we move to division of labor. Division of labor, it is dividing the working population into certain areas according to their specialization, so that decentralization of work can be done and efficiency and productivity of worker can be improved. Dividing the working population into certain areas according to their capability, according to their specialization, work can be done and efficiency and productivity is called as a division of labor. In the division of labor, Plato wrote in his book Republic. According to their Plato, he was a famous thinker of sociology. He said in his book Republic, he said, division of labor, human society is formed on natural inequalities. This natural inequality is based on division of labor. According to Plato, he said in his book Republic, human society is formed on natural inequalities. This natural inequality is based on a division of labor. So, we divided people according to their work ability, according to their strength, according to their physical ability. So here Plato also he said that in his book Republic. Human society is formed according to their different capability, different capability and inequalities. So we divided people according to their capability, according to their field work. This statement is said by Plato. Then in the division of labor, for example, the food is produced by the farmers, cloth by weavers, and dresses are produced by tailors. See in the picture, division of labor. The examples of the division of labor: the food is produced by farmers, cloth by weavers, and dresses are produced by tailors. The division of labor leads to organic of various sections of the society. The division of labor is necessary to fulfill the needs of social, economic and political needs of the society. Understand? And then according to Karl Marx, he also a famous thinkers of sociology. Plato and Karl Marx, he was a famous thinkers of sociology. Karl Marx, he say, division of labor creates less skilled worker. Division of labor creates a less skilled worker. He classified division of labor into two different divisions. Karl Marx classified division of labor into two different divisions. One is economic labor, another one is social labor. In the economic labor, Karl Marx said the division of economic labor goes with the technical and people's corporation. In the economic labor, technical and people corporation is the most important. Then after social labor, the division of social labor achieves social control through class, status and stratification. Understand? Then a different division of labor we can see post-industrialized society, then industrialized society, pre-industrialized society and industrialized society. In the present digital world, the division of labor is done through computers. All of you know that in the present days, the division of labor is done through with the computers, technical workers. For example, in the information technological society, the division is based on various skills in using the computers. Understand? Then, like this, specialization creates a division of labor. What is the meaning of specialization? Here, specialization means having deeper knowledge and in-depth skill in one particular field is called as specialization. Having a deeper knowledge and in-depth skill in one particular field is called as specialization. Understand? Then, in the division of labor, it creates division of labor. Work being done by people depending on their interest, tastes, abilities, age, skill and gender is called as a division of labor. Once again, I repeat, division of labor. Division of labor means work done by people. Work being done by people depending on their interest, depending on their taste, depending on their ability, age, skill and gender is called as a division of labor. Understand? And let's move to very important concept, that is inequality in employment or inequality in labor. First of all, we discuss meaning of labor, then what are the important factors creating inequality in labor. Meaning of labor. Labor means earning in cash or kind by providing one's manual or intellectual labor is called as a labor. Labor, it is a earning in cash or kind by providing one's manual or intellectual is called as a labor. Labor, it is an important aspects of a human society. All of you know that it is one of the most important aspects of a human society. Then labor also means a function done in order to achieve something. It is a function done in order to achieve something. Then what are the main important factors creating inequality in labor in India? Very important question. Factors creating inequality in India. The first one is class, income. First one is class, second one is income, third one is gender, fourth one is region, fifth one is caste, and the last one is religion. Class, income, gender, region, caste, and religion. These are the important factors creating inequality in labor in India. Understand? Then, any labor that goes against a dictum equal labor equal pay can be called as a discrimination of labor. Equal pay and equal labor. Equal pay and equal labor can be called as a discrimination of labor. Even though such a discrimination is less in government sector. In agriculture sector, unequal division of labor is based on sex, age and capacities. Understand? Then, there is a lot of discrimination based on educated and uneducated peoples. Then, let's move to concentrate very important concept, that is labor with pay and labor without pay. Labor with pay and labor without pay. First, we discuss labor without pay. What is the meaning of labor without pay? What are the examples of labor without pay? My dear students, labor without pay in general meaning, it is a payless labor. It is a payless labor. Labor without pay means if work is done without payment either in cash or kind, then it is called as labor without pay. Such workers are called labor without pay compensation. Often, labor becomes an activity without any monetary benefits or material benefits. My dear students, labor without pay means if work is done without any payment either in cash or kind, then it is called as labor without pay. Work in done without any payment, without any cash or kind is called as labor without pay. It is a payless worker. It is a payless work. The worker cannot be compensation for his work. Work in family is good example for this. Understand? Working in family is the good example of the labor without pay. My dear students, labor without pay, it is unpaid worker. They will not take any salary for their work. Women are the main undertaken unpaid labor globally, so that they will not compensation for that work. Women in work without any compensation within the family, in due to love, by status, out of self-motivation or by force. This is the meaning of labor without pay. Understand? The best example of the labor without pay, that is a family. That is mother, housewife, housemaker are the best examples of the labor without pay. Then, what are the examples of the labor without pay? Another example is that students taking part in the activities of Scouts and Guides or NCC as the part of their schooling. The student taken part in the activities of Scouts and Guides or NCC, and also the student different institution. Then sometimes students are also assigned to particular work as the part of their coursework. During this time, the students are paid. ITI and nursing courses can be considered as the examples of the labor without pay. ITI and nursing and entrance of medical teaching. These are the examples of the labor without pay. Understand? And then move to concentrate, that is labor with pay. What is the meaning of labor with pay? What are the examples of labor with pay? Understand? What is the meaning of labor with pay? First, meaning of labor with pay. Labor with pay means the labor which gets compensation based on hours, days or months for semi-skilled or skilled work is considered as labor with pay. This is called as wages. The total pay that is given based on the total work is called wages. Wages are given based on hours, days, weeks or months. My dear students, labor with pay means the labor which gets compensation based on hours, based on days, based on months is called as labor with pay. Then what is the meaning of wages? Wages are given based on hours, days, weeks or months. The examples of the labor with pay. The examples: small business and roadside business. This is the best examples of the labor with pay. Work in factories, work in school as assistant teachers, building work, vehicle repair, garage mechanic, agriculture farm workers. These are the examples of the labor with pay. Understand? The examples of the labor with pay: small business and roadside business, work in factories, work in schools as assistant teachers, building work, vehicle repair, garage mechanics, garage mechanic, agriculture farm works can be grouped under labor with pay. Understand? Then in the labor with pay we can see barter system. In the labor with pay we can see the barter system. The barter system was more popular in a village setup. In most of the cases, physical labor was compensated with material and food grains. The barter system means it is an old method of exchange. People exchanging services and goods for other services and goods in return is called as a barter system. See in the picture, barter system, the people exchanging of goods and services, and goods and services and other goods and services in return and exchange. This is called as a barter system. It is very popular in a village setup. In the most of the cases, the physical labor was compensated with the material and food grains. With the increase in the usage of money, the practice of providing monetary compensation for labor grew also. Understand? Next, move to concentrate, very important concept, that is labor from organized and unorganized sectors. The first one is organized sector, organized labor sector, labors from organized sector. My dear students, very simple, organized and unorganized sector. Organized, it is a government sector. Unorganized it is a non-government sector. or it is a private sector. Understand? Okay, let's start. Labors from an organized sector. The labor sector is divided as primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Similarly, based on the securities and facilities available, the labor sector is further divided into two most important sector, that is organized and unorganized sector. Understand? The labor sector is divided into two most important sectors, that is organized labor sector, another one is unorganized labor sector. So first discuss organized labor sector. What is the meaning of organized labor sector? Organized labor sector means the sector which is enrolled as per the law of government and provided fixed wage facilities within the framework of law is called as organized sector. The sector which is enrolled as per the law of government and provided fixed wage facilities within the framework of government, that is called as organized sector. Understand? In the organized sector, what are the features of organized sector? The main important features of organized sector, that is legal framework, fixed work, job security, fixed salary, social security, employment guarantee. These are the features. These are the features of organized labor sector or facilities available for organized labor sector or characteristics of organized labor sector. One is legal framework, second one is fixed wage, fixed work, third one is job security, fourth one is fixed salary, fifth one is social security, and the last one is employment guarantee. These are the main important features came under the control of organized sector. Then, what are the rules that should be followed to start the business in organized sector? The first one is take the permission of the government before it begins its function. That is the main important rules. Then it is also mandatory for them to pay taxes. It is also mandatory for the pay taxes. And it is responsibility of the institution. Then provided employment security for the workers. These are the main important rules that should be followed to start the business in a organized sector. Then, what are the examples of organized sector? In the organized sector, the examples: schools, hospital, industries, government related service, commercial banks, life insurance companies, military and others. These are the examples of organized sector. Then I already told the rules the rules that should be followed to start the business in the organized sector. What are the rules? The first one is this sector has take to permission of the government before it begins its function. The organized sector, the main important rules that is permission of the government. Then it is also mandatory for them to pay taxes. Permission of the government. Then second, pay taxes. Taxes pay. Then it is the responsibility of the institution. to pay. It is the responsibility of the institution to pay special facilities. Understand? Then it is the mandatory them to provide pay on specified dates along with overtime pay. Then this sector is guided by legal modalities. Then the relationship between employee and employee is guided by the legal provisions. These are the rules that should be followed to start business in a organized sector. First, it take the permission of the government, then pay taxes, then responsibility of the institution to pay special facilities, provided employment security for the workers. These are the rules that should be followed business in a organized sector. Then let's concentrate, that is unorganized labor sector. I already told organized and unorganized. Organized labor sector, it is came under the control of government, and unorganized labor sector, it is came under the control of non-government or private sector. It is a private sector. On unorganized labor sector, the unorganized sector of work is that sector where legal provisions do not completely govern. In this sector, the relationship between the employer and the employees is not guided by any legal provisions. There is no need for registration. This sector does not follow the legal provisions for the government. They do not tax provision. My dear students, unorganized labor sector. Who are unorganized workers? People who work in areas which are not governed by specific rules and regulations and lead their lives by earning daily wages or material benefits in any other form are called as unorganized labor sector. Understand? Unorganized labor sector. Then, what are the problems faced by unorganized labor sector? Problems of unorganized labor sector. What are the problems faced by unorganized labor sector? The first one is there is no fixed time. There is no fixed time. In unorganized labor sector, there is no fixed time. Then, no job security. There is no job security. No fixed wages and allowances. No social security. No medical benefits. Exploitation from owners. These are the problems of unorganized labor sector. In unorganized labor sector, the problems faced unorganized labor sectors, that is there is no fixed time or duration for this work. There is no fixed time. There is no legal provisions. There is no job security at all. No social security. In the unorganized labor sector, there is no medical benefits, only for exploitation from the owners. These are the problems of unorganized labor sectors. Then, examples of the unorganized labor sector, that is workers, loading and unloading workers, bricklayer workers, landless laborers, small and marginal farmers, fishermen, beedi workers, mine workers, then minor transaction, vehicle repair, selling of goods like vegetables, fish on head. These are the examples of unorganized labor sector. My dear students, the organized and unorganized labor sector. This is very important concept. What are the difference between organized and unorganized labor sector? Organized labor sector, they are governed by special rules. In the organized labor sector, it is the government rules. They engage in fixed wages. They have job security. They came under the tax provisions. These are the organized labor sector. Another side, unorganized labor sector. In the unorganized labor sector, they are not government by special rules. They are engaged in many works. They have no job security. They are not came under the tax provisions. These are the difference between organized and unorganized labor sector. Okay, my dear students, the last concept in this lesson, that is challenges faced by unorganized sectors. What are the challenges faced by unorganized laborers? There are 5 major challenges faced by unorganized labor sector. One is migration, second one is social security, third one is legal framework, fourth one is child labor, and the last one is physical and mental exploitation. Let me discuss one by one. The first one is the challenges faced by unorganized sector workers, that is migration. Migration means it is main important features of unorganized sector. Migration means moving the people one place to another place is called as migration. Moving the people one place to another place is called as migration. Migration is one of the main features of unorganized sector. Laborers of unorganized sector migrate from one place to another place in the search of job. That is the major challenges faced by the unorganized sector, that is migration. Then the second one is social security. Social security means having minimum needs to lead a life like housing, health, water, food, drinking water, equal opportunity to work and others is called as social security. My dear students, the social security is the main important challenges faced by the unorganized labor sector. The social security means having minimum needs, the basic needs of the human beings, minimum needs like housing, food, water, drinking water, equal opportunities to work. These are the minimum needs to lead a life. Understand? Providing these facilities universally and publicly is called as social security. Then this security is not available for people working in an unorganized sector. Then the third main important challenges faced by unorganized labor sector, that is legal framework. For workers working in unorganized sector, many legal provisions does not apply at all. In the challenges of the unorganized labor sector, legal framework, the legal provisions does not apply at all. For example, these workers do not receive wages as per their work duration. That is the legal framework. And the last one is the major challenges faced by the unorganized sector, that is physical and mental exploitation. Most of the women in unorganized sector work as domestic helpers. Domestic helpers depending on others. Most of the women in unorganized sector, the women are depending on other peoples. Other peoples mean depending on one person. Then the rate of the physical and mental exploitation of those women has doubled these days. As per the statistics 2014 to 15 census, more than 70% of women work in unorganized sectors. My dear students, in the organized and unorganized sector, in the total 90% of the laborers work in a unorganized sector. There is no extra benefits in a unorganized sector. Only for 10% of the people depending on a only for 10% of the laborers work in a organized sector. 90% of the laborers work in a unorganized sector. These are the challenges of organized and unorganized labor sector. Okay, my dear students, in today's class we have learned division of labor, meaning of division of labor, then inequality and discrimination in employment or labor, what is the meaning of labor with pay and what is the meaning of labor without pay, then what are the difference between labors of organized and unorganized sector, what is the meaning of organized sector and what is the meaning of unorganized sector. Then the last concept that is we have discussed, that is challenges of unorganized labor sectors. These points we have discussed in the lesson labor. The labor chapter is completed. Okay, my dear students, thank you.